How you doing, officer?
How you doing?
Well, I'm very stressed. I'm being threatened, but I'm doing pretty darn good overall, sir. How about yourself?
Let's talk and figure out what's
I'm
going
Dave Contescue, and you are?
Trooper Williams.
Trooper Williams. Great, pleasure to meet you.
So we're gonna talk one at a time. Go
Super,
ahead.
excellent. Thank you. I would like to have this conversation back here where I can video record it. Would that work for you? You have it on. You're running right now.
Yep.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
Right here. This is the paragraph that gives us the right. It's crystal clear. He just signed this a month ago. So I'll show you his signature when you're done reading. Our pipeline is 100 yards up that way. Crosses the driveway. We were trying to pump through. There's mud that comes up. It's in the wetland. We have to back it out. On Saturday, Mr. Pennisky would not let us in on the driveway, even though we had it right. He wouldn't let us go back there and out. And we can walk and see where it's at. It's literally where that tree is off the ground from where we got to pump it out. He made us carry it by buckets all through the wetland over there. So I called him twice on Saturday, 3 times today. I walked up to his house today. Didn't look like anybody was there, but when I told him that we were going to have the vehicle towed. Do you mind? We just had a conversation. Can he stay here? He's the other landman. Yeah, that's fine. If everybody else can just so we're not having.
Thank you.
So, John, he wants you to leave for a minute.
Okay,
Thanks.
no problem.
So I called him. I went up there, and if you go up there, it's a long ways. Walked up there, knocked on the door. Nobody answered. Was going to tell him, ask him to move his van a nice way, and nobody answered. So I called 3 times, left a message. We're going to tow it. If you don't call me, we're going to tow it. We pull back. He wasn't in the van this morning, but he's sitting in the van when I got back this afternoon, or just a little while ago, and he's got his tractor behind it. And he's like, I went up, talked to him. I told him we have an absolute right to get there. He's like, I disagree with you. I said, well, you're going to have to move it or we're going to have it towed. And I said, I'm having the police come out. And he said, that's fine because I'll talk to the police. And so I wanted you to see that. That's where it says we have the right. And there's another thing that's an easement. This is what he just signed. This is his signature right here.
So before we go any further, is that your signature?
I don't know. I don't see his paper. This is my signature. I don't know the clause he's pointing to. I grabbed a copy of the clause that says clearly all ingress and egress, they'll make every best effort to use the easement, which is down here. The easement does not include this driveway. I'm happy to talk to them about it, as I told this gentleman on Saturday, and work out an agreement. Thank you.
This easement right here, what you're showing me, that says this driveway right here. This driveway.
So there's 2 easements. He's talking about one. He's talking about one that says if there's not an emergency, the blowout is an emergency. But if there's not an emergency, then we can't just drive on his driveway just to drive on his driveway. That's not the issue.
Okay, so
And he wouldn't even call to discuss what the issue was. That's the part that I'm frustrated about, because we could have avoided all of this if he would just return my phone call.
Okay.
my understanding is, talking to the Department of Environmental Quality, Eagle, there's a clear definition of an emergency, which is, I'll read you the cut from them, right? Immediate danger to life and health. When I spoke to Adam, the environmental supervisor for consumers, on Saturday evening, he proactively indicated they were going to come through the easement and hand remove the material. He made no indication whatsoever that there was any kind of emergency, etc. I spoke to Jeff and told him I'd be happy to talk to them Monday morning. Right? This 3 phone calls, news to me. Knock on my door is news to me. There's a clear no trespassing sign.
There were 3 phone calls on your phone.
No, not that I know of.
They're on mine.
Okay, well, it's not a synchronous communication. I don't know, officer, if you live around here, but I don't give good cell service. I don't know where I was at the time. I know right now I've been working out in the field here putting straw. So,
For the sake of what's going on right now, let's chalk it up as a miscommunication at this point. How
So-
can we resolve this issue right now? You're claiming that this is an emergency situation.
We have. We're drilling underneath. We're drilling.
I'm secure, no checks needed.
We're drilling under the ground. We're drilling just because there's a wetland. We're not. Normally we dig a big ditch, we set the pipe in it, we cover it. We can't do that right now because of the wetlands. So we're drilling underneath there. There's a lot of pressure involved in drilling. If there's cracks, which there's cracks right up here by this driveway, mud comes up. It's a wetland. We cannot leave the mud. We have to take care of the mud. So there's a vac truck that we could hook up, put hose there, and suck it up. Or we can trudge through water and stuff this deep with buckets carrying it over there. So I don't know what constitutes an emergency to him, but he also, in this part of this agreement, got paid to let us do what we got to do. So this isn't just new. We went to arbitration through an arbiter. They signed, they agreed, they got paid for us to be able to do what we got to do. The minute we do, now he says he tried to talk to Jeff on Saturday. He told the truck to get off his property before he came and talked to Jeff. The truck left. The truck was up there.
Okay. I disagree with a lot of what he just said. First of all, there was no arbitration. Second of all, I was working in my pumpkin field, which is right here, when the truck started to back up, and I asked him to stop. And I walked down. I spoke to Adam, who had just told me within the half hour before they were going to do it manually. Made no indication about a truck coming. It's definitely.
Adam's the Eagle guy?
Adam is the consumer's environmental supervisor who indicated he needed to make a report to Eagle about this
We
pollution.
can call Adam right now if you want to talk to Adam himself.
So, but your question,
So when I
Officer
talk
Williams.
to Adam, is he going to confirm that story?
Absolutely.
And who does he have priority over you as far as like what decisions are made and all that kind of stuff?
No. He's consumer. Think about it like this: consumers is putting this pipeline in, and they're hiring all these different contractors, and I'm a contractor. I work with real estate. I work with the landowners and myself. Adam is environmental. He's in charge of environmental. This is a real estate agreement that we had him sign to do it. Now, like I said, if we're going to get into technicality, is this an emergency or not? This doesn't specify only if XXXXX. It says we have unlimited, unimpeded ingress and egress.
I'm sorry. You're claiming that says you have unlimited ingress and ingress through my driveway?
So where's your document that you would have gotten a copy that you signed?
Absolutely, and I have only the sections of the clause that say clearly not the case.
His clause is
Just,
being done too.
excuse me, he asked us to have one conversation at a time. I'm talking to the officer. Excuse me. Thank you, sir. I have the full document up at the house. The highlighted section is what I would say is primarily relevant to the agreement. And I have another document that I'd like to show you as well.
Yeah, we have the police out here, and he was close by. I was gonna
He's
head
got
to talk
Adam
to
on the
him.
phone.
But, how far were you at?
I'm up by the yard.
Oh,
Yeah, I'd be like an hour or more away.
yeah.
To talk to Mr. Pentescu
Well,
or to the police?
Both.
And I'll show you the other
Just asking
section.
because-
This is part of the construction agreement.
He was saying
The underlying
Saturday
sections
that
indicate
you said
they
that
will take all precautions
everything
to
was
protect
gonna
my
be done,
driveway.
mainly by
And there has been
carrying
no
buckets
discussion
and
of
not,
the mass vehicle weight, the timing they're going to be on my driveway, what's happening with the fracking crack where the pollution and leak is happening. I would be happy to talk through all those things, come up with an agreement with them, get it in writing, make sure that we all stay within those.
How big of a truck is needed?
It's you ever see those back trucks? They're like a septic, where they pump out septic.
How long would it take to finish this?
Well, that's the whole point. That's why we wanted you to come today, because this is probably going to take 3 weeks to finish this whole thing. I don't know how much mud's going to come out here. I don't have any idea for sure how much mud's going to come out. And yeah, we could sit down and try to go through 3 more months of negotiation. Meanwhile, we got to get this mud cleaned up.
I'm sorry, can I? Is there mud right now that has to be cleaned up in the immediate, right now, where
No,
we're
they did
standing
it
here?
all on
Okay, thank
Saturday.
you.
But they stopped drilling. So when they start, we're trying to